Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, and thank you for your comments. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. So, a prevailing question among Black Americans is whether or not a man needs to have money. In the past, Black women have been shamed for saying that a man needs to have money. When the question of money comes up, Black women are expected to say that it doesn't matter if the man has money or not. That all that matters in the relationship is whether or not you love the person, and you can work together with him to get what he needs to have, and blah 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 blah. So I came across this video, and I was very happy to hear a Black woman to say, yes, you need to have money because we need money to live. Now, I watched the video on TikTok. I cannot show the video because of copyright guidelines, but it was a group of young Black people, male and female, talking about dating in this modern age and whether or not a man should have money. One woman said straight up that a man needs to have money. And then the guy asked, well, how important is money in the relationship? She says it's very important. It's the most important thing in a relationship. And then he went on to say that, well, dating is about the money. No, dating is not just about the money. But if you're going to date, you need to have money because what are you dating for? What is the date going to be? You just want to go to somebody's house and lay up at somebody's house? Because if you go out on a date where you're going to go to a movie, you got to pay for that. If you go to a concert, you got to pay for that. If you go out to a restaurant to eat, you got to pay for that. So that's where the money comes in. So naturally, another Black woman came in and negated what the first woman said by saying, well, no, it shouldn't just be about money. It should be about character and all of this ambiguous stuff that gets Black women in trouble when they're dating Black men. So the Black men were basically railing against the idea that the relationship should be dependent upon money. It's a realistic expectation that a man should have money for himself. See, that's what gets lost in the songs. Men are very often thinking that you want them to have money for you. Black women know they have to have their own money or some food stamps or some or welfare check or something. Black women know that. So you're saying basically, man, you need to have money for yourself. And then they're talking about dating. Well, Black women don't date with a purpose like other races of women do. You need to be dating with a purpose. You don't need to just be going on a date to be going on a date. Because then that ends up with you being a single mom. And then you start over again dating to just be dating. And now you got another baby by another man. That happens a lot in our community. You need to date with a purpose, and you need to be upfront about what you want from a man. If you just want some characteristics from a man, you just want him to vibe with you or show up at your parties, but there's nothing specific that he has to do. There's no real role in your life. He just needs to be on hand for whatever. Then that relationship is going to be doomed, and eventually he's going to move on to somebody else, and hopefully you won't be left with a baby to raise alone. But honestly, this happens a lot in our community, and we can't deny it. And you shouldn't let anybody convince you that a man should be able to come into your life, a grown man should be able to come into your life, nest in your home without adding anything financially and otherwise, because everybody else is having to pay the cost to live in this world. Black women are not placing any value on themselves, on their time, and on what they want. You have to place value on who you are and what you want out of life. And if some guy comes along and, well, he doesn't have to have any money, it's not about money, really, you need to pass on that guy because that's a loser. Well, if you don't want to settle down, and now, well, okay, let me recalibrate. You need to know what you want from a relationship and from a man before you get involved. because this random dating is what's got Black American communities really in sort of in chaos, because all of this random dating leads to a lot of single mom households. And you can make that work. It can be a good household. You can raise good children, but you need a support system. And then, doing all this random dating, and then you end up having to go to court to find out who your baby's daddy is, and he doesn't want anything to do with the child. And it's just a cycle that keeps repeating itself. Also, and I think we need to take this very seriously, there is a resurgence of the HIV infection in Black communities across this country. I've been seeing that alarm going across social media and in the print media. So that also goes back to this random dating, just dating people, not vetting people, and just contracting a very serious disease. So, Black Americans, I believe that we do need to pay attention to the red flags. And I'm glad this young lady said what she said in this video. And I wish more Black women would take that stand. There is nothing wrong with the Black woman pulling her weight in a relationship, and there's nothing wrong with the Black man pulling his weight in the relationship. There are a lot of relationships between Black men and Black women, as well as other races, where the woman actually makes more money than the man. But he still needs to be making some money. That's just the way it works. And I think we need to be honest with each other. A man needs to have money, and a woman should expect him to have money if he's coming into her life. Because if he doesn't have any money, well, somebody got to have some money. Somebody got to have some money or some kind of resources. And if he doesn't have any money and he has rooted himself in your life, then you are setting yourself up for a life of poverty. And that doesn't ever lead anywhere good for Black people. I'm going to put that video in the comment section so you can watch it. I think you'll find it interesting. Okay, y'all, I want you to let me know what you think about this video. If you disagree, you disagree. Let me know. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.